So the next session, success stories in aerospace and defense. We have none other than VVR Shastri Garu, the ex-chairman of BL, retired ED C. To come on stage. Hemant Jalan, chairman and MD Newcon Industries. Anil Kumar, Director SLN Technologies, to come on stage, please. And Dr. V. Venkateshwar Rao, Director Center for Advanced Systems. And Krish Iyer, SVP Engineering of MOSCHIP. So request Shastri Garu to deliver a keynote address and then take it forward. Thank you.
Good evening and welcome to the almost last session of this today's this one. And I am VVR Shastri. I had retired as the CMD of Bharat Electronics, and later I joined CDOT, and there also I headed that organization and retired there in 2014. And I am really thankful to the IESA to ask me to come and share our thoughts in such a form here. And basically, the theme is this: what are the success stories in aerospace and defense? And we would like to have. I have with me 4 of my colleagues. Hemant Jalan, he is the chairman and managing director of Newcon Industries, based in Hyderabad. And Anil Kumar from SLN Technologies at Bangalore. And we have one R&D center also, Dr. Venkateshwar Rao from the Center for Advanced Systems, DRDO. And Mr. Krishna Iyer from the SVP of MOSCHIP on the engineering side. So we have a very great mix of both R&D and people who have started industries and made their companies very successful. And first, let us hear from them. And all of you must have seen in the last 2-3 sessions, to start an industry and to be successful in aerospace and defense industry, a lot of challenges are there, especially where the defense industry is going to be a cyclic nature and where the entry-level barriers are very, very high. And the introduction of a product into defense is going to take long time, and the order position is not predictable as a consumer product. And then this type of a sort of a challenging situations, what is the opportunities which have been exploited by successful companies, how they have exploited this type of challenges and opportunities and made success out of their companies. I think we will start with 4 of my colleagues, and at the end I would like to sort of summarize these things and share some of my thoughts, especially with how a public sector company like Bharat Electronics was successful in the last 60 years, and how a R&D organization like CDOT was successful in developing state-of-the-art type of technologies in the country. So this is what I would like to share at the end. So first, let me call Hemant Jalan, Chairman and Managing Director of Newcon Industries, to share his success story.
Can you load my presentation, please? Yeah, thank you. Good evening, everybody. Firstly, would like to thank Deftronics for inviting us here to share our story with the august audience here. Respected members of the panel, chair of the panel, distinguished guests, colleagues, friends, etc. What I'm going to do today is share with you the story of Newcon. I would not like to use the word success. I would say success is a milestone. I would share with you till where we have come now, and I can tell you we have a lot more to follow as the years roll on. Yeah. Thanks. I've got a short presentation. You can see the contents there as such. Like I mentioned, it's the story of Newcon so far in a short presentation for you. We started as a very small company in the year 1976, and with industrial grade pneumatics. That basically means in the compressed air technology area. And we entered the defense aerospace area in a serious way about 12 years ago. What I'm trying to get at here is that we started very small. So being small is not a constraint for entering this industry, point number one. Point number two is that to enter the aerospace defense industry, which is really technology-based, technology-driven, we have to have a technology platform or something with technology as our base and background. The picture you see there is of the high-pressure dryer, which we developed about 12 years ago. And this dryer was a high-spec dryer developed by us to replace the dryers in the Russian submarines. It can withstand G forces of 85 G, works at 400 bar pressure, and in a very small space as such. So the point really is that technology again and inputs to that are very important. Size is not really the factor. We are quite keen on entering the aerospace defense area right through. We knocked on the doors of RCI, DRDL, BDL, etc. continuously, and got an entry thanks to a project team based on RCI, which looked at our compressed air technology know-how and gave us an opportunity to do the assembly and testing for the actuators for the Akash missile. The essay to the RM in today morning's presentation mentioned this particular missile a few times over, where the indigenous content is about 95%, and it's probably the highest gross value in terms of missile production in the country today. So we graduated from what I would call industrial grade compressed air technology people to electro compressed air technology products in terms of actuators for the Akash missile. When we got this opportunity, we just put together a team of 5 people, assembled them together with a lot of passion, given them the infrastructure required, and gave them the freedom to go ahead and do the job. And fortunately, we delivered, I think, better than expectations of the customer, and that opened lots of doors for us. So passion is a prerequisite in terms of getting into this business. The picture you see here is the first delivery of the control section of the Akash missile. So from the actuators, we were given opportunity to make the entire control section of the Akash missile, which has about 350 components, about 15 sub-assemblies, etc., completely sourced from within India, made in India for BDL in this case. And to productionize this was not easy. Let me share with you that. Going from lab to production is a very difficult task. The approach we took here, which has paid off for us, is that we were not constrained by just the specification document as to what it said we should do. We accommodated the changes required by the customer as we went along and met the customer's requirements. And for that, we found BDL, DRDL, RCI very cooperative, and they accepted the suggestions made by us, and we accepted suggestions made by them. I can share with you that we had about 800 to 900 changes in the drawings or the designs as we went into final production as such. Successfully, and we delivered this, and then we had to do scaling up. Going from lab to production is one task. Going from production to scaling up is another task. And that meant we had to add a lot of infrastructure, a lot of people, training of people, their skills, etc. And we did that. We did that based on the business confidence. We did not wait for firm orders, to be honest with you. We had the confidence that we'll get the orders when they come through, and we made the upfront investments, and fortunately that's paid off for us. As a business as such, we had to reduce our risk exposure, so we developed new customers, the names you see there, and new products also with electromechanical systems also. So hence we diversified our portfolio of customers and products and reduced our business risk and went on to a growth path. The picture you see on this is the picture of the new facility which was inaugurated by Mr. K.T. Ramarao last week and Dr. Satish Reddy. We have moved into this about 3 months ago, and we have built, I would say, a facility which probably would match at a global level in terms of quality of infrastructure. The reason we did this is simple. We are now exporting from India also various control systems, and our foreign customers demand quality, and infrastructure is an input to quality. Apart from that, people, I think it was mentioned earlier also, that people training and also retention of people and the skills is a key part. So if you ask me what are the key inputs for developing a business like this is quality of infrastructure, no doubt about it, but quality of people and the retention, and that's not an easy job. The other thing which is unique to this type of industry is technology. That is the platform for the business in this area of aerospace and defense. We have invested this in the last 7-8 years in technology. We have about more than 10% of our people working in the R&D area, being relatively a small company compared to the Tatas and the others. And we now can claim that we can build products to specifications rather than build to print. I think Dr. Satish Reddy mentioned that in today morning's talk also about capability of the Indian private industry building to spec rather than just building to print. The picture you see there is one of the products we developed for the BrahMos system for it to be ejected from the underbelly of the Su-30. This product was designed by us and delivered to BrahMos by us. And the valve, which is a key part of the system, was actually designed by us. It is a very high pressure valve working at 220 bar, quick response, extreme weather conditions of temperature and pressure, and yeah, so this sort of, and low wattage also, very low power consumption. So these trade-offs were conflicting with each other, and I must add here that we took the help of people outside, from the labs, from RCI, from industry experts, from people outside, to help us design and develop this valve. And that's something which we have to do because we should not believe we know everything, and that's very important too. I would not like to spend too much on this because I think a lot has been said since the morning, that it's a great business opportunity, thousands of crores of business are at stake, etc. The only thing I'd like to add is that it is capital intensive. Please beware, it is capital intensive. The gestation periods are long. What we thought would take a year took us 3 years, and 3 to 5 years is a norm, I would say, so be prepared for that. The only other suggestion I can make based on our experience is select your entry into this business very carefully. You should have something to offer. You should have something which you bring to the party. Just bags of money will not get you business. You must have some technology, some synergy, something of that nature, and that would be my suggestion to you. Build on something you have rather than acquire it afresh. That would be my advice, really. What you see here is an artist's view of the facility which was inaugurated last week as to when it will be completed in phase 2 in the next 2 to 3 years. The point I'm making here is think big, plan big, but please move step by step. Don't jump before you leap. Somebody may say there's a big opportunity. Think about it carefully, take your steps, go ahead, but carefully. That's all I can say. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Jalan sir. Can I ask?
Session Chairman, Mr. V.V.R. Shastri, the other dignitaries on the dais, and my friends and colleagues from the industry. First of all, can you load the presentation, please? So, yeah, thank you. So actually, we had some fantastic presentations from the other speakers. In fact, they have summed up some of the issues very nicely. So what I'm actually trying to do today is to bring a perspective from a small and medium size of company, what kind of challenges they face and how to tackle them, and what exactly are the success factors of our company. So that's what I'm going to speak. So before that, let me give a very brief introduction about our company. So SLN was actually started in the year 1995. Myself and a classmate of mine from engineering, Subramaniam, we both started. And it's already 22 years old company now. You can see that we are basically embedded systems design company. So we actually are experts in embedded systems, and then we provide these solutions to aerospace and defense. And we convert these things into rugged systems depending on customers' requirement. So we actually operate in some of the domains. We are very focused in aerospace and defense. And in fact, 99% of our customers are defense PSUs, DRDO companies. So we don't export unlike other companies. They said 90% exports, 10% domestic, but we are 100% a domestic company. We, in fact, are working with some global majors now, after so many years of experience. You can see that we are in avionics, LRUs, control systems, automatic test equipments. These are the main things. We are also into some of the things like single board computers, and we are very customized design house. We can give customized solutions. And we have certifications. We are AS9100 certified company with Semilac approval for more than 10 years. I think we got in 2006, something like that. And then we have DGQA, and these are a must actually. So why I'm saying this is, without these certifications, one cannot work in defense industry. So we have received several awards, many awards from LCNA, EFI, and then we have received 2 national awards from Government of India, from MSME. So these are all kind of bonuses that you receive, for your success. And capabilities-wise, I'll just, skip through this very quickly. We have all kinds of embedded design capabilities, and we build mill-grade components in order to get qualified for rugged systems. These are some of the projects successfully executed. In fact, I'm not going into all these projects. It's a quite a big list. So we always take pride in our company. There is a saying that if somebody asks what is the, how do you explain your success, we say that we deliver the promise. That is a slogan in our company. We have put everywhere, inside our company. That means whatever we promise to the customer, we deliver it at any cost. That's a underlying thing. So these projects, to the 100% satisfaction of the customer, we have delivered these projects. And one of the advantages of successful execution, especially in defense and aerospace, it is a word-of-mouth marketing. In fact, many people say that defense is very tough, it is tender, L1 and all that, but sincerely, we don't believe in that, because many times customers come back to us and say that, you have done this project, why didn't you do this? In spite of all the competition, tenders and all that, that is one of the reasons I just listed. It's an exhaustive list. So I'm going actually, okay, these are some of our valuable customers. Bharat Electronics, we have Mr. Shastri sitting here, HAL, DRDO Labs, then we have NPCL, BARC, ECIL. ECIL was one of our first customers from Hyderabad. So these are our customers. I'm just going to take only one case study. This is something very interesting. Probably this should give some idea to some of the budding startups and those who want to enter Indian defense sector. This is a product. Technically, it is described as SSFDR, stands for Solid State Flight Data Recorder. In other words, it is called black box, which you hear often, in the aircrafts it is used. And this is a very interesting project, and it's a very successful project and product that we developed and executed for HAL. HAL Korva is our customer, end customer. And this product goes to Sukhoi 30 aircraft. And now I'm very proud to say that we have more than 100 black boxes flying in Sukhoi aircrafts. We also developed a different version of this product for advanced light helicopter and light utility helicopter for HAL. So what are the challenges that we faced? I'm just giving a timeline to get idea. We first received tender in 2005, and then the order actually tender was submitted in 2005. There is an interesting story behind this. We submitted tender for hardware development and software development. That was how they called for the tender. We submitted both the tenders on the same day, and that day our problem started because our hardware tender reached on time, the software tender reached one day late, so we were out of the tender. And one of the MNC companies got the software tender, and then we had to coordinate with them. And then you can see that our first prototype was delivered in 2018, but we could not actually test and get it qualified because the software was not ready. And then they were taking their own time. And finally, two of the key people, my colleagues are here, Ansari and Rukmangada. We finally decided to help our competitor who was actually developing the software. And it went to the extent that finally we decided that we are going to do the software. And we took all the cost. It was to our pocket. And we did the project and we delivered it. So that's how this project started. But we went through all these problems in the beginning, but it is helping us now. So that is a key outcome of this. So the trial order started in 2010, and then the major production orders received in 2012, because even the trial orders are 2 numbers, 4 numbers, 6 numbers. They slowly ramp up. They don't want to take something and put it into the aircraft which doesn't work. You just have to imagine or just have to see the other side of the story, what customer thinks. They outsource components and products from varieties, different companies, small, medium, big, and MNC companies knows how to exactly work with small and medium level companies. And then when they integrate everything into an aircraft, and this aircraft has to be reliable and it has to work every time, 100% expected reliability of this product. So how much care they have to take? So that is the challenge involved here in developing this kind of projects. So we have delivered more than 100 units, and we received another repeat order this year, and it will continue for some more years. As I said earlier, based on this success story, what we did not wait for another tender to come and develop it. We voluntarily developed a product for advanced light helicopter as well as light utility helicopter. And we gave the product to the customer. We said, you please test it. They were quite surprised, and it cut down the development time by more than 5 years. We took order in 2016, and it took almost 5 years to get it qualified. When we gave this product, straight away they took it and they put it on the aircraft and they started testing it. So key challenges what we faced. One of the major problems that any company will face is understanding the specifications. This is exactly where the problem starts, because due to shortage of time, they come out with the tender specifications. Our experience of 22 years says that roughly a company, whoever asks for any product development, they will have 30% of the specs only. Remaining 70% will be developed over a period of time. That happens joint collaboration. So we always say that a customer is our partner. We don't consider them as a customer and then we start pointing fingers at them, because they also have a lot of challenges. And if they had everything, let us assume that if they had everything, why they would have called for a tender? They would have done it themselves. So this is an evolving project. That is one of the gentlemen in the previous session, he was asking that it takes a long time. That is exactly right. It takes long time, but you need to work with your customer as a partner. Then only that handshake will happen. Otherwise, you keep blaming and they keep blaming each other, then it's going to be a blame game. So that is one of the things. And then understanding full scope of work. That means the challenge is to understand complete specs and quote a competitive price is when you slightly move up the value chain and start facing bigger tenders, the risk is also more. If you don't understand the specs and quote a price, then you are going to lose money. So you have to be extremely careful. And then full scope of work. That is very, very important. It is not just developing a product. See, now the increasing trend in Indian defense, we are seeing this with Bharat Electronics as well as HAL. They are actually good. The reason is they are not looking at developing one product by itself. They are looking at the complete life cycle cost and the life cycle serviceability, and also the life cycle considering the obsolescence of components. So the tenders are designed in such a way that it is split. Suppose if the tender is for 100 systems, they say that quote the price for first 4 systems. This is going to be a prototype, and then you need to amortize the cost for next 96 systems. So that means you need to work out a price which is good for next 10 years. The challenges are many times you don't know actually what is the price escalation every year. Year after year, the component prices will go up. You need to factor all those things into consideration and then make a quotation. So that is one of the major challenges we face. And then unrealistic timelines. For some reasons, they ask and we also say yes. That is something we cannot blame anyone because they'll blame us, we blame them. But the fact is, when the first SSFDR tender came, they asked for 6 months. We said we'll do it in 6 months. But it was, the LD was taken for granted that we are going to pay in any case LD and okay, let us work towards that. So that's what happens. But in the recent days, there was a tender recently from one DRDO organization, and they asked for some specifications which are more stringent than the best supplier in the world. Then we very politely declined and we told them that we cannot build these specifications. It is not possible. You will look at who is the best supplier for these components in the international market. They are also not able to, they are not doing it. It is more ambitious, but we have to be realistic. So since we are the technical people, we know, we gave this constructive feedback to them. They realized that, and then after that, they decided to cancel that, and they are now working on the specs again. So that is very, very important. Then dealing with unknown factors like certification. Like recently, after the success of solid-state flight data recorder, we received a global tender from one big MNC company, and it was a $75 million order. And to understand that requirement took more than 1 month for us, and then to prepare an offer took 3 months' time, because there is something called FAA we never dealt with. It is like an unknown devil for us. And then we got into the process of understanding what are the implications, what are the costs involved, and then we came to know that just to get an FAA certification costs probably $2 million, and then somebody advised in USA that it may take 1.5 years to 2 years. Now, how we are going to factor this cost into our tender? And then we also came to know that they wanted 5 years warranty for the components. Okay, our suppliers, they give only 1 year warranty. Then we started working, and then we went back to the suppliers. We asked them what is the cost escalation. With a lot of difficulty, we found that the cost escalation is actually not more than 2% per year. But many times what happens, you put a lot of safety margins into your quotation, and then you will be out of the tender. So these are some of the risks. And then, so that's what I said, the obsolescence of components. Just to give an idea, if you are doing a product which goes on board on an aircraft, just a qualification cycle is 1 year. That means onboard testing of any component takes 1 year, and then Semilac is involved, and there are so many other regulatory bodies. So you cannot just like that change the component, and we faced a problem with one of the memory units, and we had to wait, and we grouped all the components which became obsolete together, and then we went for the recertification, and then it took 6 months' time. So this is a practical situation. And the warranty issues I already discussed. So how did we actually tackle all these things? So this is very, very important for us. As I mentioned, we consider customer as our partner. We never really challenged the customer. In fact, the more we started working closely with them, they were more closer to us. And they are, in fact, they really sympathize. Sometimes they say that you are such a small company, it is taking longer time. How you are going to manage your cash flows? Why don't you complete this? You want any other help? They go out of their way to help. That is what many people are not aware. So that's very, very important, that you must have a fantastic working relationship with the customer. And my project team members, two of them are here, how many visits they make, and we go out of our way. Maybe our product warranty is over 2 years back, but customer will come back because there are so many things which they did not factor, we did not know, but we still help them. Yes, it is our duty because it's an ongoing relationship. Then win customers' confidence, because it's very important that, see, nobody gives very big order to start with. Wherever you are dealing with, it can be Indian company, it can be a foreign company, they just want to test the waters and see how you are going to do, how you are going to meet your commitments. So you must execute a project once you take it from the defense at any cost. Even if you lose 10 times, it doesn't matter. See, in our experience, what we have realized is, any R&D development of any component for aerospace and defense takes 4 times the cost you originally estimate. Suppose if you say that this is a cost, say, $100,000, finally when you complete it, it becomes $400,000. So you obviously cannot recover this cost from the first project itself, or one project. So we look for production orders for such R&D development. In fact, for the first 10 years, say starting from 1995 to 2005, we were taking a lot of pride, and we were very happy to, a lot of passion. Any project R&D orders were coming, we started executing. But we realized that you actually can't make money just by doing the R&D projects. So that is very difficult, because every project, as I said, 4x you spend, and then that project is gone, and then there is no knowledge recycling. How we are going to make money from that? Then we realized that we started looking for tenders which says, okay, develop 4 systems now, and then we need another 25 systems, 100 systems. Such projects, even if you lose money in the beginning, in R&D projects, you will get money in the end. And then that kind of project gives a lot of knowledge that can be used elsewhere. When you are building an LRU, the concept and the technology, the ruggedization, these are all common. When you are going for DO, 254 or 178 certifications, this applies for all other projects. So, but you are gaining a lot by doing these kind of projects. And you must support them during the warranty and also out of the warranty. That is very, very important. You cannot escape that warranty is over, now you pay. That is not the right attitude. We have, very politely, we have told customer, but they told us, please help us. Then we have helped them. They always find some ways to compensate your loss. That is one good thing about Indian defense system. They are very, very human. That is our personal experience. Then look for projects with long-term manufacturing contracts. Offer a total life cycle cost. That is very, very important. Otherwise, you will not be competitive, and then unnecessarily you put a lot of costs. And then what is surprising to us, we face tenders, when the tender is open, the price difference between one supplier to other supplier can be 1:2, 2:4. Sometimes some people have quoted 5 times. So that really surprises us. Either someone has not done the costing properly, or they have put too much of safety measures. There is a word that working with defense is very, very difficult and all that. So they put too much margins, and they obviously will not get the orders. Especially for small and medium level companies, this is very, very important. And be in touch with the customer. This is my advice to all the budding startups and SME companies. The most important thing is you must never lose touch with the customer. We have seen in the beginning, even we have done this mistake. It is not that we are best always. The moment something goes wrong, you try to avoid the calls, you don't pick up the phones, and you try to hide. If somebody is coming this side, you run away. All these things will only worsen the situation and the relationship. Instead of that, you face the situation, deliver the bad news first. There is nothing wrong. At least he will not have, he need not give a bad news to his, wrong news to his boss and give a rosy picture, and then when it doesn't happen, he's going to be in much bigger trouble. It has happened. In fact, several years back, one fine day, the GM of a very big, unit just walked into our customer. I mean, our customer walked into our office. He did not inform anybody in the office, and we were taken by surprise. And then he said, "I just wanted to check what you guys are doing." Maybe I had some doubt that if he informs, then we will either escape or something like that. But that kind of very open and transparent relationship only strengthened our partnership with the customer in the long run. Today, we are getting some of the orders without any tender or single tender basis because of our track record. They believe, in fact, I'm very proud to say that we have thrown on supplier completely out of HAL. It is already more than 6-7 years since they are buying only from local company, and it is 100% indigenously developed. And there are some components which we still import, but we are making efforts to reduce this level of imported components. It used to be 85% imported once upon a time. It has almost come down to less than 50%. We are working towards developing some critical components within that. We are confident that we'll achieve that. So this is all about my presentation. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity. And if anybody has any doubts or questions, especially I'm talking about small and medium companies, we'll be more than happy to help them. And we ourselves outsource a lot of components from other industries in India. So that means there is an opportunity for everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anil. And now let us hear how a semiconductor company can be revived from Krishna Iyer, and let us hear from him.
Good evening, panel members. Chair of the panel, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Krishna Iyer, and I'm with Moschip. Moschip has been around for 17 years, and at Moschip, we build a lot of systems in semiconductor and associated software that make all these systems in semiconductor functional. So today, as part of the success story, I am going to talk about one particular project. This is a semiconductor project, and so the presentation is technically involved. And we recently delivered this to one of the defense organizations, and this happened recently. We have a demo that is based on this semiconductor in our booth outside. So when you walk out of here, you could see a complete demo of the semiconductor that we will be talking about today. So the semiconductor is a very complex semiconductor. It has various pieces that it's a complete SoC. It's an ARM-based SoC. It has a video subsystem, and it is close to 250 million transistors. And today, we have moved all the way from 250 million to 1 billion transistors. So the complexity of these semiconductors they are very complex. They take a very long time to build, close to 18 months to 24 months, and they are very complex, capital intensive. At Moschip, we do these semiconductors from scratch. We take any requirement document from any defense organization, and we walk through the design, walk through the architecture. We do the complete design of these semiconductors. We verify them both in FPGA and as well as a design. We pass it through multiple tests to make sure that all the use cases that need to be supported are covered. And then we take it through a complete layout process, and finally, we work with the fab to manufacture the semiconductor. This is the board that you will see outside in our booth. It is completely functional. We received the semiconductor a couple of months back, and it took us a month to verify 95% plus functionality of the semiconductor. We are building currently multiple reference design based on these semiconductors. We are also building a handheld device, a wearable, all for the same defense organization. So what does it take to make this project successful? As you know, on an average, every semiconductor takes 1 to 2 fabrication cycle. We call it an average of 1.5 fabrication cycle. This particular semiconductor has seen only 1 cycle, and it is fully functional. So it took us a lot of planning, processing, building a good team, and a support structure to deliver this product successfully. And all of this was done here in Hyderabad. The paper design, the architecture, the design, the coding, the verification, building of all the systems that we need to test this design, laying it out, generating a final database that we fabricated outside the country. That's the only thing that we did outside the country. We don't have any fabs available in this country. And so we had to send it to, this was sent to TSMC in Taiwan. And it was packaged and we received it. And I think within 24 hours, things started coming up. And you know the excitement that we get once these are very complex SoCs and anything can go wrong. Things can go wrong while fabrication. Things can go wrong while handling these devices from one place to other. Things can go wrong while packaging. And that's why we need a bit of luck in the end for it to work. During the planning phase, we were lucky that we got a good requirement document from the defense. There were not that many changes. Some of the major changes can put us back by 6 months. In this case, we had a good PRD, and we could come up with a good architecture with the team that we had, and we were lucky that there were not that many changes that delayed the project. The PRD was useful, and we could get the right IP. We were involved in procuring the IP, and we had to work through many vendors so that we can get the right IP that fit the requirements of the product. So the planning phase was very important, and we had to go through diligently to make sure that every piece of the silicon was identified, properly architected, and properly documented so that we can move to the design phase. The process of designing also involves following various steps. We had to have a schedule, and a project like this, we go through a waterfall schedule where we line up stage by stage the various activities that will take us from all the way from design to a tape out to a fabrication house. One of the things that really helped us is that all the designs that we did within Marchchip, we ran it through a Xilinx prototype platform. And every chip that we design, we take it through a Xilinx platform so that we can verify, run the software, and test everything. Maybe not at speed, but at least at the functional level, we are guaranteed that things will work. We also generated proper documentation so that we can have periodic review with the defense organization. And we also had a proper verification methodology to make sure that we can verify every gate in that semiconductor and produce a result and show it to our customer. The team is very important. These are high-skilled engineers that we need to build these semiconductors. We have multiple stages that we need to go through. So we need expertise for design. We need expertise for verification. We need expertise who can bring up these things in an FPGA. And we need expertise who can lay it out and send it to fabrication. So we have multiple teams that work together, collaborate together, and it is not an easy task. Syncing up all the team and being able to keep that team over the 18-month and 24 months when you are building the silicon, it is very key that you keep them motivated, and retaining them is very critical for the project delivery. not least, we also need a lot of support from other companies. Xilinx, we need a lot of support them during the prototyping phase. We also need a lot of support from the EDA vendors, Synopsys and Cadence. And then we also need a lot of support from the fabrication house with all their libraries and all their technology so that we can build the right silicon. We also had a lot of expert helps who were advisors to us, who helped us along the way so that we can deliver a successful silicon. And so we are very thankful to all the experts and advisors who helped us through the process. Finally, I want to say anybody who is interested in building a semiconductor, it is a very involved process. You have to be very meticulous when you build these projects, these products. A small mistake could cost you a lot, not just in money, but in time. It will set you back easily by 6 months and $2 to $3 million. So anybody who is interested in, you think about it, carefully plan it, put the processes in place, and make sure that you have enough checks and balances to deliver a successful silicon. Thank you.
Thank you, Krishna. Now let us hear from Mr. Venkateshwar Rao about the challenges and success factors of a R&D center.
Respected Chairman and panel members, delegates, organizers, very good afternoon. I am sorry I could not bring any presentation because I thought it is like across audience we had to debate. Anyway, what we listened about SLN success, then Nucon success and MOSCHIP success. But that of course the factors what makes us success is same for anybody. I think all those things even implies to DRDO also. DRDO's success story is depends on primarily our responsibility. We have to do the good design, and then we have to concentrate on the development. Subsequently, success depends on our business partner. I think we only depend on the business partner who is supporting our production. Finally, our aim is to deliver the required numbers to the services, and that is we are getting only from either from the public sector or a private industry. And during my service, I have seen the success basically depends on, I think, what they are. I think Nucon, definitely, I know they are, all these industries, they are supporting us. And I'll tell you that our business model, how we go agreement with the business partners. Because in my experience, I have seen we even invest money on the companies where we require our production, that they are suitable for our production requirements. And similarly, when there is a technology with them, we'll go to them and we'll take their help to give our products. And similarly, some places where we are strong, we are continuously support giving, because some of the industries like propulsion stages, where we require large number, we don't have industry. Hardly we are seeing one private industry where we are getting the propulsion stages. That is a very pitiable situation at present. I think now many industries are coming forward to support with respect to the propulsion stages. I think we have to look, anybody who is interested in the development of the propulsion stages, I think we are there to hold the hands. And similarly, there is another technology, composite product development. That is another area, very few industry, one or two industries are there, where we are continuously supporting them, because they are also not growing to the requirement of our targets. So we are continuously supporting them, and we are holding their hand, and we are developing them. I think these are the two areas, propulsion stages and propulsion system and composite product. These are the areas. Of course, this is a new thing to the electronic India conference. but all the industries, they are diversifying. Now, unless that is a success mantra, unless we diversify to the different areas, we cannot be success. I think that way I suggest these two areas, I request some of the industries may concentrate and support us. We are there to hold the hands. Definitely, we know the technology, we know the, that is of course our production always, we closely monitor with our third party inspection or whatever the cases. That way, we'll give the technology inspection by the third party, and with this model, we are successful. I think success for DRDO depends primarily, I will again tell, this is depends on the business partners only. If they are success, we are success. Otherwise, we cannot be success. I think I'll participate in the panel discussion. Of course, I'll thank organizers for giving me the opportunity.
First, let me just summarize what my four esteemed colleagues have told and what are their, in their view, what made them to be successful in their lines. First, Jalan Saab has told the basic, his success factors are, one is the having passion for development, and the other important point which he has brought out is going beyond the specifications. What the customer specification is not the ultimate, and you have to understand the basic, purpose of that specification and go beyond that. And then the other important thing is what he has brought out is scaling up the things. And the one important thing which he has brought out is you can plan very big, you have to plan big, but grow step by step. I think that is a very important point which young entrepreneurs have to keep back of their mind. And then Anil from SLN Technologies, the one important point which he has brought out is deliver on the promise. I think if you deliver, if you promise something to your customer, you have to deliver it at any cost. And that is one important thing. And the other important thing, you have to establish such a reputation that you need not have to do the marketing. The marketing is done by word of mouth. And then the other point which he has brought out is the proactive development of the upgrades. Don't wait till the next, inputs come from the customer. Expect what he wants next and then start developing those things. And then the important thing is addressing obsolescence and, understand the cost escalation aspects and always keep it at the back of your mind that customer is first. So I think these are some of the important points which he has brought out. And then, of course, Krishna Iyer is very, very forthcoming as far as the Sikara is concerned. And one point which he has brought out is getting involved from the beginning with the customer in order to deliver what he expects is very, very important. And brought out 6 points rather, planning, process, team spirit, experience, and support structure. These are very, very important if you want to be successful. Of course, one point he has brought out is we all should have a bit of luck. But let me tell Mr. Iyer that luck favors those who have that 5 ingredients. So if you don't have those first 5 ingredients, luck won't favor you. Then, of course, Venkateshwara has told that the success of DRDO is basically due to the, support extended by the, business partners. I think he's very right, especially in their, all their projects. The way the, MSMEs and the business partners have supported them and then, delivered those critical items which were not available to them at the critical point of times. I think that has been one of the important critical aspect which they were able to face all the challenges. So I think that is one of the important things. And the other important point which he has brought out is propulsion systems and the composite developments is one of the two important aspects which they expecting some sort of a support from all the, the business partners. I think these are the, I would like to summarize my four esteemed colleagues have this one. And coming to my sort of some thoughts which I have is that, right from the morning we have seen what are all the challenges most of us have faced, in the companies which are supplying to the defense industry. And if you see, the start of this defense, this one has started with the DPSU, DRDO development projects. And then the next big thing has happened when the DRDO has taken up the missile programs. And that has given a lot of support to many of the industries in and around Hyderabad and all over the country. And then DPSUs, when they have started outsourcing because of their own restrictions for various reasons, when they have started outsourcing their own projects to most of the MSMEs, I think there was a upsurge of industrial growth in the defense segments. And then the post-liberalization aspect, when the DPP made it that it has to be opened for the private sector, there was a lot of enthusiasm in the defense activities. And because of all this, one thing which was very clear today is many companies in and around Hyderabad, Bangalore, Chennai have come up and they have become very, very successful in these, sort of as good MSMEs and to certain extent even as system integrators in the private sector. And we have heard from some of those companies what are their success factors, which can be emulated very easily by many of the entrepreneurs. And that is one of the, take homes for today. And if we look at it, what were the challenges for, for defense industries in general, is the cyclic nature of the defense orders, product induction times, cycle times, long cycle times, which has been very well brought out by Anil, and then the inspection processes, and then the, payment schedules, level playing fields with reference to the foreign products, and then the lack of entrepreneurship. And these are some of the challenges. And then similar challenges do exist even in the public sectors. The type of productivity problems and the type of audit-related issues in the companies. And these are all some of the things which have to be addressed in a broader perspective. And then one point I would like to, as my two, experiences which I have handled. One is at Bharat Electronics. Bharat Electronics was established a long time back, 60 years, 65 years is over. And then right from its beginning, it had a, reputation for a company which is able to see the future and go forward with the changing times. I think that is one of the good, this one. And what were the success factors? So this is what I was trying to, because now I am not in Bharat Electronics, so I was able to recollect back and I wanted to just put it in what I think, what were the success factors for Bharat Electronics, which was able to maintain its, leadership position in defense electronics for so long a time. So one thing which has come to me very clearly is the ability to absorb technology and lead the technology and, invest in technology. I think one of the very, very special companies, very rare companies, which has invested to the extent of 5 to 10% of its turnover, not the profits, continuously for the last 25 years in R&D, is Bharat Electronics. I think for over the last 25 years, for the last up to last 5 years, it was around, average is 5% of the turnover. And in the last 2 years, it has come to the 7 to 8% of its turnover is being invested in R&D. And the investment in the R&D is also planned in a very structured way. See, in the initial years, in the early 60s and 70s, the focus was on the engineering aspects. See, the technology was coming as the, sort of a transfer of technology, and the main focus used to be engineering. How to make it, productionizing, and the technology which has come, how it can be converted into a production technology, and how can it be this one. Then later we came into the development aspect. The development phase concentrated on how to develop products which are the next marks. Mark 1, Mark 2, Mark 3, the improvements that of the existing product which has been developed from the imported technologies. So that is the next phase where the focus was on the development. Next came on the, research. So this is where the new product development, anticipating the customer's development, and collaborating with the R&D institutions of the Ministry of Defense, and proactively working with them and developing the products. This is the research phase has happened. And the next phase which the BEL has invested is in the blue sky research. So for this blue sky research, it has started the central research labs and started working on the futuristic technologies, where only the concept proving technology, proving aspects will be dealt so that they will be useful for the future. So what I was trying to tell is the investment in the research and development is also structured and planned very well and executed well. And this is one of the success factors for Bharat Electronics to keep up in pace with the changing times and the changing technologies. So then the other important aspect, which to my mind, which I can now today can see that is the way the human resources has been managed. I joined Bharat Electronics in 1968. At that time, the company was having only one unit at Bangalore, and it was having 20,000 people, out of which the number of executives used to be 150, and all the remaining used to be workmen. And later, if you see, you must have seen Mr. Acharya's presentation. Today, the company is having 9,500 people, out of which 5,000 people are the engineers. Out of these 5,000 odd people, 50% people work in engineering, in R&D. So that means the total R&D, the total manpower structure has changed from labor orientation towards knowledge orientation. I think this has been planned over the years, and the way it has been planned and implemented through different methodologies, I think this is one of the success factors because of that type of, we never had that type of labor-related issues or any such type of things, and the ability to create that type of a manpower within the organization itself was well planned and then executed. This is one of the success factors. And of course, the other important aspect, which is that I feel very proud, is sort of creating that, though it is a public sector company, I don't say that we are great, can compete with private sector and all that as far as this one is, but an element of entrepreneurship. The entrepreneurship is people are being encouraged to sort of identify what are the new opportunities, what are the new areas which we should look at it, and how to invest there and where to go. So I think this type of a culture has been developed over the years, and then, encouraged. And this has given a lot of, satisfaction to the people who are working there, especially to the officers, etc. And that has created a sort of enthusiasm within the organization. This is another one important success factors for the company. The other important, this one is over the years, the company has followed a policy of outsourcing. See, I always used to say as long as I was there, see, whatever the others can do a job better than us, better outsource that product, outsource that activity. So this is the philosophy. See, as long as someone else can do that job better than us, and better to outsource that. But only one caveat is that let him not take us for granted, or let him not take us for, for a ride, as far as the cost and the, supplies are concerned. As long as that is assured, anything which can be done better by the other, this one, it can be outsourced. So I think by making this outsourcing as a sort of activity, I think the company was benefited quite a lot. And that is able to meet the customer expectations as far as the cost and, deliveries are concerned. So this is the other important aspect. And the most important other thing which I feel very proud of this one is the business ethics of the organization. I think that is one organization where people keep the ethics much beyond the business. And they feel that very important that there is the ethics of the organization, the morale of the organization, and the honesty and the integrity are first before, even going to the extent of, losing business also. I think these are some of the factors which has made the organization very proud and be successful in this one. And I think these are things which can be inculcated in every organization. It need not be a big organization. I think this is the, focusing on technology, focusing on the core activities, focusing on the sort of business ethics, focusing on the sort of, important processes. I think these are the things, if we can concentrate, I think it will be very good, and that will be very, lessons are the success factors for any organization. Thank you very much. And we can take some questions if you have.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we can take a couple of questions. Going once. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you so much, Shastri Garu, for that nice, panel discussion on successes, because that's exactly what we need in this country, right? To inspire youth as well as industries, right? So we request you to kind of hand over some mementos to the other panelists. Right? It's okay. One, two, doctor. I request Krishna to do the honors for Shastri Garu. Yeah. So Krishna says he's his guru. So this is the Shishya giving his. Oh, they want me.